YouTube, I'm Kirsty, and in case you missed Monday Night Raw last night, I got you. So again, I was watching on Hulu, so they take a few things away. I actually, the reason why I missed it was, A, my stepson only has a few days left with us before he goes back home. And so we were watching memes on YouTube. Now I know what you're thinking, Kirsty, memes are just a picture. You can't watch them on YouTube. You can. Seriously, YouTube it. And B, I decided to take Sega to the park up the street, which ended up being a terrible idea, which is why we're at the doctor's today. And the doctor basically told me I'm overreacting. She's fine. She's just going to limp for a while. Sorry. Rocky. Sorry. So slides, right? Anyway, so let me tell you about Monday Night Raw. My BFF said, okay, stop doing 20-minute videos. And I said, but I don't want them, like, they can just Google who won a match, you know? Like, I want to tell them how they won, like, a lot of stuff that happened. And she said, put more Kirsty in it. So that was my Kirsty, because I love constructive criticism, as long as you're nice. Hey, Rocky. Okay, so on Raw. You guys, there are so many exclamation points in this, and it's probably going to be a 20-minute video. But I promise you, it's worth it. First, we start off with the mixed tag team mosh pit for the 24/7 title. So that's new, right? Drake Maverick and his wife, Renee, were versing R-Truth and Carmella. So right away, Drake attacks Truth at the bell. Truth kicks out. Truth throws Drake over the ropes. The mosh pit throws him back in hard. Truth covers and Renee breaks it up. So Mel and her straight up lay on top of each other. Huge rights. The men break it up and Mela slaps Drake. Truth slams him and covers for 3. Retains the 24/7 title. Only now, you know that whole mosh pit scenario? As in, every other person that wants that 24/7 title is slowly surrounding the ring? Yeah. They all cover Truth. But who comes out with it? Mike Kanellis. He runs backstage, finds a door that's unlocked, and locked himself in. Then my spirit animal, Maria Kanellis. Did I ever tell you guys about the Twitter thing? Yeah, I did. Okay, so she comes up and she's like, oh, my baby. Oh, my gosh, I need my husband. Oh, you guys. So everyone moves out of the way and she's pounding on the door and she says some very rude things to her husband. But he lets her in and she pretty much, Mike is saying, I got this for us. This is our championship. And she says, nah, lay down. Brings a ref in. I want our unborn child to have a championship. So, of course, he's going to let her put her foot on him. 1, 2, 3. Maria Kanellis, my spirit animal, is the first ever pregnant 24/7 champion. And then after that, like, all the guys from the mosh pit, you know, like No Way Jose, I'm sure EC3 was there, like, all the guys gunning for it. She's going up to Titus O'Neil. She's going up to every single one like, oh, first pregnant champion. Do you want to pin a pregnant woman? Of course they don't. So, hats off to her. I wish I had as much moxie. I think moxie is a thing. As much moxie as her. Hey, moxie, sure. Sound like I'm from 1920. Okay, next up we have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for a moment of bliss. Alexa says she is appalled that Dolph kicked Shawn Michaels last week. This comes up later. Do you guys remember during the Raw Legends week when Dolph Ziggler was on Miz TV saying the Legends weren't nothing, and then he ended up sweet chin musicking Shawn Michaels, the Legend? This comes up later. Okay, but Alexa says even more appalling, as she shows footage of Natty training. She said the trainer's name. You guys, again, I'm not great with these. Somebody, Finley, I want to say she said Finley, but that would be too amazing and allegorical. But it was a video of Natalya training with him, and Becky runs up, takes out Finley, and puts Natty in a disarm her. Nikki and Alexa both say it's wrong, but tonight Alexa fights the man and will knock her down a peg or two. Enter Becky Lynch via Titantron, saying, "Oh, don't hurt your neck turning around to look at me." Oh, low blow, Becky. She says, "You know I can hear you, right? And I've remembered everything you've ever said or done to me, as I had Natalya. And so tonight, when we go one-on-one, I'll just see you then." Okay, then we have a Raw Tag Team Championship triple threat match. It's the Usos versus the Revival versus the newly formed OC. Remember, it's Gallows and Anderson, and I guess AJ Styles? I don't know. It's like the new Bullet Club, basically. So we start with Dawson versus Jimmy. Jimmy shoulder tackle. Dawson follows with the back elbow and a chop. Tag to Wilder. Wilder headbutts. Some chops are exchanged to Jay. Wilder slams Jay into the turnbuckle. Big forearm, then tag back to Dawson. Dawson does some holds. Jay backdrops Dawson, who then puts Jay in a sleeper hold. Jay flips him, and Dawson tags to Wilder. Wilder throws Jay through the ropes. And Gallows and Anderson, this whole time, it's been like 5 minutes, are just standing there waiting for people to tag them. Of course no one's going to tag Gallows and Anderson. Are you kidding me? They are scary, scary men. But once they're through the ropes, Gallows does a big clothesline. There's a commercial, but that was basically a tag, right? They come back. Anderson has Jay in a hold. There's a big kick. I put big kick. Big kick. Jay kicks out. Anderson tags Gallows in. There's huge punches and elbow drop. Tag to Anderson. Anderson flips Jay, but Jay lands on his feet and punches Anderson. Unfortunately for Anderson, it's close enough for Wilder to tag, so he's back in the Revival corner. Jay tags to Jimmy. Jimmy kicks everybody. Everybody's running in the ring. Jimmy's kicking them. Jimmy jumps from the top rope to Wilder, but Wilder rolls him up, kick out. Jimmy picks up Wilder near the ropes, like holds him over his shoulder like this, and that is when Dawson secretly tags him. So Wilder gets out of the hold, picks up Jimmy on his shoulders, like a piggyback ride. No, that's on your back. Like a shoulder back ride. What animal's shoulders? I don't know. Dawson does a big flying elbow, covers, but Gallo breaks it. Anderson runs in. Dawson picks him up, but he loses his balance, and both of them fall over the ropes to the apron. I don't think that was supposed to happen. Gallows does a big boot to Dawson ringside. Wilder runs up the barricade and does a tornado DDT to Gallows. Jay flies through the ropes, tackles him. Now Jimmy is on the top rope, but Dawson meets him there with a bunch of punches. Jimmy brings him up, superplex, backwards to the entire roster that is back there right now. All 5 guys. Jimmy and Dawson go back in. Jimmy goes for a frog splash, but Dawson rolls out. He's tagged by Gallows while he rolls out. Jimmy punches Gallows before he gets in the ring, so the Revival are both in the ring, and they shatter machine to Jimmy. Jay goes to the top rope, double crossbody to them. Anderson does a spine buster to Jay, and the OC do the magic killer for Jimmy. Cover for 3. The OC is the new Raw Tag Team Champs, which, if you've been reading the news, it was bound to happen because Jimmy got arrested again over the weekend, so we knew they couldn't take the title. To be honest, I'm surprised that they were even allowed to fight. Okay, so next we have Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross ringside. When it starts, Becky holds out her chin like, go ahead and hit me. That is not a good look for me. I'm not going to do that again. And everyone's going, Becky, Becky. And Alexa Bliss is like. So Becky immediately slams Alexa Bliss quite a few times. Alexa holds Becky down with her throat on the rope like she be doing. And while she's doing that, Nikki Cross runs by, hits Becky. Ref doesn't see. Alexa kicks Becky into the turnbuckle. Becky goes for a disarm her, but Alexa counters and rolls Becky up for 2. There's a kick out. Alexa goes for some double knees, but Becky rolls out and does a drop kick to Bliss. Becky does her Bexplode her. But Alexa grabs her ankle, her own ankle, and starts crying. So a medic comes out, calls the match, but then Nikki comes ringside and is screaming at Becky, like, I can't believe you did this. Do you have something to say? Like, do you want to do this? And Becky's like, if you want to come, let's go. Let's go right now. Ding, ding, ding. It's about to be a match. So meanwhile, on ringside, and this is important, Alexa Bliss is sitting in a chair, and she has her leg out on a whole nother chair, and she is crying the entire time. Do you guys remember the time Alexa Bliss, was she fighting Naomi? Oh, maybe it wasn't Naomi. But she went like that, and it was clear her arm was dislocated, so they were about to call the fight, and it turns out Alexa Bliss can just do that. Yeah. I don't want to like her. I really don't want to like her, because, my men love her. So even though one time Sega was on her kitty Kindle, and we have the WWE Network on there. Hey, Ashley, this is another little Kirsty segment for you, because you said it's the only thing that makes 20-minute videos bearable. And she had her kitty Kindle with the WWE Network, and I looked down, and she's going through Alexa Bliss's pictures, and I'm like, all right, that's my kid, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden I hear her saying, Mama, Mama, and inside I'm all like, I mean, this is who my man had the calendar on February for 4 months for. This is who Corey Graves calls the goddess. Like, does she really think I look down? It's pictures of Alexa Bliss's pet pig, Steve. So anyway, moving on. Nikki comes into the match. Becky does a big shoulder tackle. Nikki does a cross-body lateral press. Does a huge hold, but Becky counters it, does a big kick. Nikki goes to top rope, but Becky throws her down. Manhandle slam, cover. Becky wins. At this point, Alexa misinjured Bliss starts attacking Becky. All of a sudden, who's running down the ramp? No one but Natalya. So Alexa and Nikki both roll out of the ring, kind of scared. Natty ain't going for you. She does a sharpshooter to Becky before just leaving like nothing happened. Then there was a little clip of my spirit animal, Maria Kanellis, yelling at Braun Strowman. I don't really understand it, but it happened. Next we have Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. Okay, so remember how I said you were going to need to remember that last week Dolph Ziggler beat up Shawn Michaels? This week, Dolph Ziggler comes out to Shawn Michaels music. Process this with me. Rollins does an immediate clothesline over the ropes, throws Ziggler off the barricades ringside, throws Ziggler back in the ring, a lot of big punches. Ziggler gets Seth outside of the ropes, does a huge slam to Seth on the apron. Commercial. Back in. Rollins does a rolling elbow into the sling blade. Cover, Dolph kicks out at 2. Dolph throws Seth into the turnbuckle, does a zigzag, but Rollins kicks out at 2. Dolph revs up. That's what I call it. I don't know what it's really called. He basically did burn it down. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he was mocking Seth, though. I feel like that's just what he does. But when he gets done, Rollins super kicks Dolph. Then Seth goes to the corner. Burn it down. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out, walk to the ring. And all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar takes Seth Rollins from Little Rock, Arkansas to Suplex City. It's actually, obviously it's a DQ. It gets bad. Like, Lesnar goes over and gets a steel chair, sets it up in the ring, like set up like a chair. F5s Seth on it like 3 times. At this point, Seth Rollins is literally throwing up blood. Like he's coughing up blood and gagging. It's so much that Paul Heyman is begging Brock to leave Seth alone. The EMTs come out, put Seth Rollins on a stretcher. They close up on Seth Rollins. He has blood just pouring out of his mouth. Then there's a backstage segment as Seth Rollins goes in the ambulance. The OC and Samoa Joe attack Roman Reigns and the Usos. Like, it's so weird. But then, as the ambulance pulls away, Brock Lesnar stands in front like, no. Goes to the back. Pulls the stretcher out with Seth Rollins still on it. F5 Seth Rollins onto the stretcher. Again, Seth Rollins is throwing up blood. Still doing it. Okay, so then we had Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns in a Samoa Summit. This was the headlining match. But remember, Samoa Joe and the OCs just attacked Roman Reigns and the Usos backstage. So, as soon as Roman Reigns hits the ring, they fight. Roman gets Joe out of the ring, throws him on the apron, a bunch of headbutts to Joe. Joe throws Roman into the steel steps, but Roman picks up said steel stairs and hits Joe with them. Turns around. Drew McIntyre? Really? Right now? Roman throws him over the barricade. They fight through the crowd for a little bit and then come back in. Drew and Samoa Joe beat up Roman ringside and throw him into the ring. All of a sudden, Cedric Alexander, are you kidding me? Cedric Alexander does a huge jump onto them. Drew fights Cedric up the ramps, throws him through the Titantron. Not really through it, he bounces off. So Joe throws Reigns through, not really through, on top of the announce table. Then all of a sudden, the Usos come out and start fighting. The OC come out and start fighting. You guys, everyone looks up on top of the Titantron. You know that huge, like, 20-foot thing is Cedric Alexander. What does he do? Jumps on everybody from 20 feet up high. Drew and Cedric go in the ring. How Cedric is still walking at this point, I have no idea, but props to him. Drew goes in for the Claymore when they get in the ring, but Cedric drop kicks him. Cedric goes to the top rope, but Gallows pulls him down. Reigns does a Superman punch to him and to Drew. Cedric flies off the top rope, takes out Drew. The Usos double kick Samoa Joe, and Reigns does a spear to Samoa Joe. I couldn't even follow it, and this is right after Seth Rollins is like vomiting blood. Anyway, so that was Monday Night Raw. So SmackDown, I'll do SmackDown Live hopefully tomorrow night. Of course, Big Brother is on, so. And then 205 Live, hopefully sometime after that. Everything's going to be late this week because I decided to take Sega down a slide, and that just ruined my entire week. But if you're looking for a podcast, me and the amazing Oz Banks do one. We did it this morning called Beyond Serious. It is not safe for work. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at always_KIRSTIE. I like to read things. Sometimes I'm funny. And I shall... Oh, thank you so much for my new subscribers. Seriously, you guys are the best. If I don't annoy you too much, feel free to subscribe. And I will see you guys the next time.